Welcome back to another Higurashi When They Cry. It's been a long wait, and I thank you so much for your patience. I'm ready to play the next part. Last part was really fucking stupid, and I felt really gross playing it, but this one's gonna be different. Mark my words. Higurashi, When They Cry. Look at that beautiful shrine. Alright. Let's waste no time. I'm looking at white right now. What's happening? Oh. There we go.
Listen up, everybody. If you don't take cooking seriously, somebody's going to get hurt. This is part of your education as well, so don't fool around and do it seriously.
A lazy "yeah" wafted through the class in response. Half the school day today was going to home economics class. The plan was for everybody to make curry rice and give it to the forest rangers who let this building be rented out as a school. If everybody were making curry in the same pot, it would have been more of a party-like atmosphere, but this was school after all. Excluding the youngest students, each of us would be making our own curry, with the results being judged.
Alright, everybody. It may be that nowadays curry is easy meal for anybody to make, but it has its roots in traditional Indian cuisine. Even though we're altered it a bit in Japanese style, it's still instilled with the knowledge and culture of ancient India. Absolutely do not neglect that fact. Do not. Mark my words, do not neglect that. I'll have words with anybody who doesn't take this seriously, so be prepared for that.
That seemed like a needlessly passionate sermon on curry. Well, whatever.
It's rumored that Chai-sensei was devoted her life to curry. She'll probably be a pretty strict dodge.
As long as you're not failing your grade, as long as you're not failing your grade in home ec, doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter at all. What? As I said twice.
I wouldn't say if I were you. The teacher is a tyrant when it comes to curry.
What the heck does that even mean? A curry tyrant? Never heard of that before. You see, our normally mild-mannered teacher, for some unfathomable reason, is a stickler for curry. Unyieldingly so.
Yeah, it's said that every year she goes on a journey to India to research mythical curry.
This is just a rumor, but it seems that she eats curry rice 3 meals a day, and if she occasionally has something else, it always has to be curry flavored.
That's not unyielding, that's unnatural. But is she part of an evil cult or something? Besides, doesn't curry top the list when it comes to junk food? What? Curry 3 times a day is just a weird, nutritionally speaking, and Keiichi just got fucking executed for that line of thinking. Thunk, thunk, thunk. Embedded in the table right by my fingertips, a chef's knife, ladle, a spatula hummed gently as they still quivered. The teacher, while still mixing her own pot, was looking this way, smiling. Kei-chan, shh. If you say any more, you'll be sleeping with the fishes. Saying even a little bit more would make my situation a lot more dire. Yeah. Just be serious and make your curry properly and everything's good, alright?
I don't think it's going to be that easy today.
Look, Mi-chan is...
It's written all over her face. If the playing field is even, then we're being judged and there's no way this won't turn into a competition. It looks like we're all on the same page. It's a cooking contest! I knew it. There's no way Mian would leave such an enticing event alone.
How shall we determine the victor? By how the teacher judges it? As if saying, but wait, there's more.
The teacher reappeared with the principal in tow. The purpose of today's event is to show the appreciation for the people at Ferocity Service, so they'll be judging the results with me. Yup, your teacher and I... Oh, that was the teacher. Yup, your teacher and I, as well as 5 people from the Forestry Service, will be judging your cooking. Good luck, everyone. Gahahaha. Even the principal? Looking around, it seemed like the interest of everybody in the class had been piqued. So that's what's happening. This isn't going to just be some casual curry cook-off.
Rita is good at making curry. I'm not gonna lose today.
My grade in cooking is a group. My grade is cooking in a group, so I'm together with Rika.
But that's unfair. I'm pretty sure that Rika is good at cooking.
My curry is so tasty it'll send shivers down your spine.
What about Mion? She doesn't seem like she's too good at cooking. Her type has always been bad at this type of thing. What's her type, Keiichi? But Mion continued to look unconcerned. I'll teach you what Kei-chan is thinking right now. Mion is definitely bad at cooking. Am I right? She's a mind reader. I don't like the way she said that. It couldn't be. Mion couldn't possibly... At that moment, the teacher's whistle sounded.
All right, everybody, are you ready? Be very careful with the knives. Start!
The call to arms had sounded. We had to use an outdoor kit to cook the rice, but it wasn't that difficult for a camping veteran like me. I'm a lumberjack. Put the rice into the canister, push your palm into the bottom, and fill the water just to above the wrist.
Are you all right with only that much water? If you don't put in more, it could be bad.
You filthy liar. If I put in any more, it'll just be left with some half-cooked porridge. Satoko, if that's meant to be a trick, it won't work. I'm used to cooking rice with these utensils. First it starts to bubble, then the steam starts to puff, and don't take off the lid no matter what.
Ah, Keiichi-kun, you're amazing. This is a little unexpected. Did you learn this at summer camp?
My dad really likes to go camping, see? Whenever summer comes around, our family goes a lot. So this means everybody's good at cooking the rice. In other words, the critical part of this challenge will be the curry. It's kind of nasty to use your hand as a measuring tool.
Humph. Curry is Rika's specialty. I'll cream you all.
You lost me at Rika's. Why don't you help with the cooking too?
Huh? Maybe Satoko-chan is helping the most by doing nothing at all.
Eep. The ends justify the means. I'll just have to win.
That was a pretty malicious comment from Rina, and Satoko took it hook, line, and sinker. Rina could only apologize between fits of laughter while Satoko chased her around. Well now, should we move on to the curry? For now the battle truly begins. After rinsing off the carrots, potatoes, and other standard vegetables, I grasped the knife. Gulp!
What? What today's curry tastes like?
As Rina hummed along, her very well-practiced hands wielded her knife. The rhythmical sound of the knife hitting the cutting board harkened to the kind images of days long past. Simply put, it was perfect. Wait. Days long past? Does Keiichi know? Is he finally going to wake up? It was so calm in practice, I seriously didn't stand a chance. I looked over at Satoko and Rika-chan. Satoko was in charge of washing the vegetables, while Rika-chan was in charge of peeling them. That's what I heard being discussed, but Rika-chan's knife skills were something else as well. She was happily rotating the potato and peeling it quite quickly. On top of that, the peel spanned the entire potato. What was that called again? Katsuramaki? I think it's called peeling a potato. I've heard that peeling a vegetable in one loop around like that is a highly regardable technique. She picked up the peel from the sink and carved a pair of eyes into it with her knife.
It's a snake. Roar.
Saying that, she placed the longly peeled potato skin on top of the head of a boy from her group. She wasn't even breaking a sweat. When it comes to Rika-chan and cooking, I couldn't even hold a candle to her. But roar? Do snakes make that sound? Alright then, how's Mion doing? She's definitely just fumbling along. There's no way she could peel a potato so effortlessly like that. How much you want to bet that she's actually doing good? Absolutely no way. This can't be! You've got to be kidding me! This is a trick! She's using special effects! Where's the wire? She's definitely using a wire. Here, take a look-see. As if she had already won, Mion proudly showed me the elongated potato skin.
You didn't know, Keiichi? Keiichi-san? Mi was taught how to cook by her grandma.
Not just cooking, from sewing the flower arrangements to playing the koto, from marksmanship to radio operation, even helicopter piloting is but one of the myriad things that she can do.
Damn, quite a lot. Strangely enough, the latter items were more realistic. It was the first few items on that list that seemed like a lie.
She's actually really good at cooking. It's just such a hassle that she never does it, though.
Damn it! I'm also really good at cooking, especially Chinese food. Keiichi, you traitor.
Keiichi, boiling something and pouring it into a bowl doesn't count as cooking.
Shot down before I could even say it.
Oh, too bad for you. Today, Keiichi-san shall be assuredly languishing in defeat all along. Clank.
Tough words from somebody who can't even cook by herself.
Wah! Rika! There. I'll destroy Keiichi for you.
Gah! This does not look good! Everybody is smirking at me! Don't raise the white flag yet, Keiichi Mayabara. Don't throw away this match. Calm down and think. Not about how to peel these potatoes well, but about how to win this challenge. There is too many people watching. I'm going to work at another sink. Saying only that, I gathered up all the vegetables and left the spot behind.
Well, Keiichi couldn't be alright. I'm worried he might cut himself with his knife.
I hope he kills himself. That was just a joke. Let's see what Kei-chan's doing. No matter how hard I try peeling these, if I slip up at the speed, I'll loop my fingers right off. Lop my fingers off. Then there's only one thing left to do. Tomita-kun. Okumura-kun. Oh, you guys were in a group of 4, huh? It was the 2 underclassmen that had become my sworn brothers ever since the event at the toy store last Sunday. They had been paired with 2 girls from their group.
Yep, both the girls are pretty good at cooking.
So both of us could just mess around and we'll be okay. Both of them pointed at the girls. They're not as good as Rina, but they were both good enough at handling a knife. I'll get straight to the point. At this rate, I'm going to lose this contest. Give me the vegetables your group has peeled already.
Mayabara-san, yeah, that's pretty much theft, but depending on what's in for us.
Oh my god. In other words, it depends on the terms of negotiation. Quite bold of you guys. Well, that has to be expected. Then let's do this. If I win, I'll let you eat the curry that Satsuko and Rika-chan groups make. How about that?
I don't know about that.
Both of them are hesitant after such a weighty proposal. Just one more little push seems in order. Very well then, let's make them an offer they can't refuse. I pulled both of them close by the shoulders and made my offer in a hushed tone. Don't be sus, bro. Of course, that includes the part that Satoko and Rika-chan have already eaten some of. I'll even throw in the spoons. Who would want that? Splooge. A red mist spouted vigorously from the noses of the 2 underclassmen.
Huh? Keiichi-san is also pretty good at this. Those are some very nice potatoes. Having brilliantly cleared the vegetable peeling challenge, I returned to my...
Having brilliantly cleared the vegetable peeling challenge, I returned to my comrades in triumph.
Oh, amazing, amazing. Kichi-kun's peeling is really good.
Huh. That's not quite right. What K-chan has bared isn't a potato, but his fangs.
Yeah, I'm super serious about this. I'll crush you all. Having finished with preparing the vegetables, next is to boil a pot of water, then add the vegetables in order of which takes longest to cook. I learned this part from my mother when we went camping, but just cooking in order, it probably won't garner a lot of points. Look over at Rena. She had a variety of vegetables cooking together in a delicate balance. She wasn't being ambitious or calculating a way to win the game. She was making delicious food with a mother's touch. I have a feeling that I could somehow compete with Mion in terms of technique, but I would be no match for Rena. She was way out of my league.
When my mother makes curry, you see she always uses lots of ingredients. That's why Rita's curry uses a lot of ingredients as well. I really wanted to take all night and stew it nice and slow. How?
I beg of you, will you please help just a little with my curry?
No. This is one of our club activities. Rita will lose.
Ugh! When she enters club mode, even the normal, kind Rena becomes an enemy. Looks like Rika-chan is cooking apples as well. Ugh! She's like a pro at this. How about Mion? What? Mion, you? What the heck is that? Where did you get the meat from?
I predicted what we would be doing today by looking at the schedule, so I prepared accordingly. My curry is going to be marvelous.
Upon closer inspection, it looks like Mion brought her own vegetables and spices and other ingredients. They were spread all over the place. Mion, just for today, you brought all this stuff from your house? Objection! Chi-sensei, there's no way this is allowed, is it?
Objection overruled.
As long as it makes for delicious curry, anything goes.
Ugh! For that normally serious teacher to go so far as to append a star to the end of her sentence. Oh, cute little fourth wall break there, Keiichi. Just as the rumor said, she's a through and through curry freak.
Rena and Rika-chan are naturally gifted chefs. I've come with thorough preparations. And K-chan, what about you?
It's hopeless. In the grand scheme of cooking, peeling the vegetables is only a small part of it. The hurdles I must overcome are just too numerous and too high. Mayabar-san, over here! Turning around, I saw the voices calling me belonged to the two underclassmen from earlier, Tomoto-kun and Okamura-kun. What's up, you guys? Huh? What's up with that pot? Is that from your group?
Switch this pot. Switch this pot with your pot before somebody notices. I think that the curry the girls from our group made, at the very least, is better than what you could make.
You guys, for me?
Don't get the wrong idea. If you don't win, then that is...
Oh, that's right. If I don't win, then the talk of eating Satoko and Rika-chan's curry goes right out the window. Good, bro. Don't let them eat that. That's gross. It seems like you guys are getting riled up about this, too. Sorry, I'm in your debt. But I'm surprised the girls in your groups agreed to this.
Mayabara said, we're also serious about this.
Filling in on day duty 3 times, these guys, to assure me victory, have paid the price. That gaze filled with burning conviction for my underclassmen. Yeah, I'm not fighting this alone. I'm fighting this with everyone.
Leave it to me, guys.
Save some room, boys. I'll definitely let you eat your fill.
We shall eagerly be waiting your victory.
It's a gas stove, so controlling the heat is easy. All that's left is to let it stew a bit. The delicious smell of curry began wafting upwards. Isn't that like... Wouldn't that be like super unfair to the two girls in this situation? Like the two little kids Okamura and Tukumura, they're little friends who are making the curry. I mean, they're making all the curry, and those two doofuses are just sitting there. I'm really mad at them, actually. They keep falling for a victim to Keiichi-kun's stupid fucking ways. But I mean, like, they made that curry. Now they're just giving it to Keiichi-kun for what? So the boys can get a hard on? Like, what the fuck is going on, bro? This is stupid. I hate this. The pot gifted to me by the two underclassmen certainly drew some double takes. Rina even looked surprised when she came to take a look, so it must be pretty good.
Kei-chan, you're pretty good. It looked like this'll be a good match right to the bitter end.
Rina wants to eat Keiichi-kun's curry too.
Rina's curry and Mion's curry too. Everybody is a worthy opponent. I've done my very best, but I'm not sure of the outcome.
Kei-chan, Rika's calling you. Go see what she wants.
What? Rika-chan is calling me? What could it be? Well, whatever. While I'm at it, I can gather some intelligence on the enemy. Rika-chan was doodling on the ground in front of the pot, because all that's left is to let it stew. Even then, it's good to know that she doesn't leave the stove unattended. Hey, Rika-chan, how's yours doing?
It's Mr. Curry.
Huh? Rika-chan was doodling something strange and introduced it as Mr. Curry.
Mr. Curry is amazing. He shoots beams from his eyes. Pew pew.
Apparently, Mr. Curry shoots beams from his eyes. Drawing a beam with a stick, she etched a line towards my feet. Does this mean I've been shot with a laser? Ooh, how! Barrier! Beam, reflect. I took another stick in my hand and reflected the beam, striking Mr. Curry.
Mr. Curry can shoot missiles from his stomach. Pshoo!
Hooah! Mayabar super electromagnetic barrier and retaliatory beam.
Mr. Curry absorbs the beam energy and fires this impulsive wave cannon.
Rika-chan and I scratched at the ground, thoroughly engrossed in our doodle war. Wait a moment. Hey, Rika-chan, you called me here for a reason, right?
Yes, I called you, but I've already fulfilled my purpose.
At that moment, a chill ran up my spine. Already fulfilled her purpose?
They got me.
Oh. They got me! Headed back to my pot, standing there, just as I feared, was Satoko. With no question asked, I drop-kicked the back of her head. Kick a little girl.
What do you think you're doing? You know better than to do that to a lady's head.
Who cares about that? Satoko, did you mix something in with my curry?
How impertinent. I haven't fallen that far. Despite what you may think, I'm a fair person, you know.
Then what's with this incomprehensible line of ladles and plates, leaving them all in these unstable positions? If they fall over, what will you do? At that moment, a gentle breeze blew by, knocking over a ladle that was stood on its end. The ladle, like a domino, fell over and knocked over the next cooking utensil in a row. Whap, whap, whap. Clank, clank. Thud, thud. This is art. Come to think of it, Domino World record challenges were quite the rage on television a while back.
Kei-chan, the frying pan.
I didn't even have time to react. The chain reaction knocked over a cutting board, then a frying pan, then next after that, my pot! Clash. The fry pan stuck my pot full force, tipping it over. The contents cruelly spilled out, and now my masterpiece was being sampled by the schoolyard. I stared, dumbfounded. It was such a beautiful and elaborate mousetrap. For that moment, I lost touch with reality.
Oh my, this is a catastrophe. I didn't do anything, you hear me? Oh, ho.
At the very last moment, I had let my guard down. I ignored the culinary incompetent Satoko for far too long. Even if she couldn't cook, Satoko still had this method of fighting back. Just then, Rina, who had been sampling her own pot, let out a scream.
What? Rita's curry is salty.
Was Rina also sabotaged? Then what about Mion?
My rice is salty. I've been had.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. With this, all the obstacles in my way have been taken care of before the fight even begins. All that effort wasted. So sad, so sad. So very, very sad.
Rika-chan and Satoko rubbed my dumbfounded head to their heart's content. Pushing the desk together, it was about time for the meals to be judged. The delicious odor of curry spread throughout the courtyard. The members of the forestry service, to whom we owe the gratitude for our daily work, were guided to their seats. The principal gave a bit of a ceremonial introduction. Next, the teacher expressed her desire for them to judge the curry contest. The men from the forestry service seemed to like that kind of thing and gave their enthusiastic approval.
Well then, is everybody finished? We'll now have all the judges sample your cooking.
Everybody in the class brought out their painstakingly made curry and arranged them on the desk. The only club members who managed a decent result were Rika's Chan's group. Knowing full well it was a failure, Rina planted her curry for the judges. She already knew she was going to get a low score, but at least she was still able to serve hers. Both Mion's and my curry were completely obliterated, so we couldn't even line them up on the table. The judges started from the curry made by the lower grades. They had a lively discussion praising the food. Finally, it was our curry's turn.
Next up is Rugu-kun's curry. Yes, this looks quite appetizing.
The principal cheerfully shuffled a spoonful of Rina's salty curry into his mouth. Of course, his expression immediately changed.
Oh my! What happened, Rugu-san? It seemed so delicious when you were cooking it.
Chei-sensei must have had some expectations judging from her disappointment.
I'm sorry. I might have added a bag of salt by accident.
The rest of the judges grimaced after they each had a bite. I feel so sorry for them.
Failure is but the seasoning for success. I'm looking forward to next time. Do your best.
Saying that, the principal devoured the rest of the oversalted curry in one go, truly a man amongst men. Rina was down and out. Her offensive capabilities were something else, but she was defeated due to her weak defense.
Well then, please savor our curry next.
You're a jerk.
I see that Furude-san's group put a lot of effort into their curry. Let's see here. It's a simple but very nicely done.
There was also the incident with Rina's salted curry right before this, so the judge's assessment was extraordinarily high. Maybe not just extraordinary, but perhaps today's forerunner. The judges began a heated debate. One of those judges let out a sigh and he removed a chunk of carrot with his spoon. Yeah, this kid's curry really isn't half bad, but I don't like carrots. Personally, I think the carrots are a staple of curry, but I guess to each their own. However, seeing that, Rika-chan read the nameplate on the chest of the coveralls and began to speak.
That's no good, Kyoji. You have to eat your carrots.
What is she saying all of a sudden? Everybody turned to Rika-chan with a stunned look. But what Rika-chan just did was super effective. The carrot-hating judge began stuffing his face with curry while tears streamed down his face. Sure he did, bro.
Kyoji. There's seconds if you want them.
What? Sob? Mommy! While crying like that, he continued to shovel curry into his mouth. Full-grown man calling a little girl mommy. Let that sink in. Rika's curry was by no means simple. No, that curry had the taste of a mother's cooking. With the carrot-hating judge out of the picture, Rika-chan's assessment was unanimous.
Oh, ho, ho. Nobody can stand up to Rika's curry.
Satoko let out a shrill laugh as she declared victory, but at that moment...
Don't be fooled, my esteemed judges. Don't be deceived into thinking that this meager slop is the taste only a mother can provide. What you people actually wanted to eat was this kind of curry, wasn't it?
Ooh! All of a sudden, in all of a perfect glory, Mion's curry. Not only the judges, but the teacher, the underclassmen, and of course myself could only gasp in admiration. Hamburg steak with the demi-glace sauce and a fresh salad. It's a set. It would be stretching it to say that this was a full course meal. It's perfect, perfectly made.
Amazing! Mi-chan, you're amazing! Mi-chan, you're amazing!
Satoko was also shocked. Even Rika-chan couldn't hide her surprise. Seems the victor was decided without even needing a taste. Of course, the hamburger was hand kneaded. The salad also had a home-style dressing, but professional quality, and the curry not even a micron of grit.
This is sublime! Truly a taste of savor, Sorazaki-san!
This curry is no doubt a living testimony to 6,000 years of Indian knowledge in beautiful harmony with Japanese cuisine. I'm elated! This deserves full marks. I'm giving it 100 points!
Ah, you're welcome. I'm just trying to set an example as class representative.
Mion bowed politely, and then winked at us with a smirk on her face.
I admit defeat.
There's no way this is happening. I'm certain I sabotaged the pot of rice.
That's right. Satoko had dumped salt into Mion's rice cooker, which should have ruined it. At that moment, it hit me. I spun back towards my own canister. That's why! Yeah! At some point, my cooking canister had been opened, its contents completely emptied. Damn you, Mion! You used my rice! That's no fair! I hate when it's typed like this. Hand over half of your curry! Mion clucked her tongue and waved her finger at me. A smirk washed over her face.
Whoa there, Kei-chan, you're not taking this seriously enough. You gave up at the last moment. I didn't. That's the difference between us. As soon as you give up, it's all over.
Gah! I couldn't even properly voice my shame.
Mi-chan, I feel sorry for Kichi-kun. Just give him at least a little.
It's fine, it's fine. This is a lesson. Kei-chan just learned that you shouldn't give up on the contest until it's over, alright?
It loathes me to say it, but Mion is right. To give up so quickly on the match was my own folly. For Mion to have brought that to my attention, I should actually be thankful to her. Well then, did that mean that even in this situation I shouldn't give up? My curry was overturned while it was still in the pot, and I didn't even have any rice left. How in the blazes am I supposed to lose hope in this situation? Not supposed to. But Miyabara-san! Oh, fuck. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun suddenly appeared. Damn it! Even though my protégés had tried so hard, I wasn't able to meet their expectations. It was an accident. There was nothing you could do. Oh, both of them were dejected. Gah! I couldn't accept defeat so easily. I was their senior. What would I be if I didn't pick up the broken pieces of the dream I had showed them? I just learned it from Mion just now, didn't I? Don't throw away the contest. Not until the last moment. Think, Keiichi Maebara! Think! Not about how to make more curry, but about how to win the match. Ah! I had an idea. I didn't think I could turn the tables, but it was better than nothing. Tomita-kun, come and wash your hands. Help me out. Okamura-kun, there's something I want you to find.
Okay, gotcha.
Both of them disappeared after receiving these instructions.
Oh? How is Kei-chan going to flounder about at the end? Why don't you show me?
Nobody likes a stubborn fool, you know.
Shut up! Just sit there and watch the last card I have to play. First off, Mion, I'll be taking some of your rice. I won't let you say no.
I don't really care. It's salty after all.
It's okay. Rita helps too, right? Kichi-kun is in trouble right now.
Hearing you say that is very reassuring. Well then, Rina, go make some tea.
Oh, he doesn't trust me.
Next, Satoko. Also, Rika-chan. I challenge you to a side bet.
What? What did you say? We'll listen to your request.
This is my duty to my 2 proteges who shed blood, sweat, and tears for my sake. Satoko, Rika-chan, if I received a perfect score, I'll be taking your curry. Nothing for you to eat.
You need to stop joking around. I'll be giving a big no to that.
No, it's all right, Satoko. Take him up on it.
Firmly patting the top of Satoko's head, Mion said those words with all the gravitas of a club president.
You handicapped him this much, didn't you?
Oh, you handicapped him this much, didn't you? There's no way he can make up for that. So meet him head on. No matter how hard he struggles, he's not going to make a comeback, right?
Grr, that may be true, but I don't mind. Keiichi, go for it, yay!
The judges, seemingly growing tired of sampling the various curries, were debating each entry. From what little I overheard, it seemed that Mion's impending victory was not in question.
By the way, what happened to Miyabara-kun's curry? I still haven't tried it yet.
Yeah. The pot with my curry in it fell over.
Oh, yeah, the pot with my curry in it fell over.
Is that so? That's a real shame.
I may have lost my curry, but that doesn't mean I have lost this contest. I'll have everybody singing my praises. My combative posturing had drawn the attention of all the judges. First of all, just be quiet and eat these, please. I'll listen to your complaints after all. This is my cooking!
Miyabara-kun, that's... Onigiri, huh?
The judges smiled wryly at this simple fare that was quite in contrast to the preceding bravado. Rina poured tea into the cup she had brought over from the break room.
He's making a mockery of this. There, look! There's not even any filling. It's nothing more than salted onigiri. This isn't even worthy of being called a contest anymore.
It's true, the amount of salt might be a little much, but...
Rina's expression told me that she thought this was a great idea, but it might still not be enough to win the match.
Miyabara-san, this is really enough to make a comeback?
Gentlemen, you did well. It's all right. Just watch. The judges were chewing with their mouths full and sipping at the tea. Nobody was singing praises or awestruck. They were just quietly chowing down.
It seems that Kei-chan has learned how to use some rather underhanded tricks. This might be difficult.
He laced it with like heroin and LSD.
Yeah, that's right. Rita understands us now, too.
What? What do you mean? Why is everybody just quietly eating that much?
You see, Satoko-chan, that's because the judges are actually tired of eating curry. Because they were judges, they had to sample each and every offering. And because they were from small children, because they were made to show their appreciation, they couldn't eat just a little bit of each. Sometimes a man values the amount more than the taste. At those times, rather than rich, mind-blowing flavor, they crave simplicity. They couldn't say it out loud, but this was the tastiest thing they'd had today. I confirmed that by looking at their eyes as the judge smiled wryly.
I'll praise your efforts, but today's contest was about curry. I'm not sure we can give a score to this.
The teacher and principal had folded their arms while they pondered the situation. My underling, seeing that, saw the small glimmer of hope fade away and grew dejected. Arg, this was a little surprise, just not enough.
Don't give up, Kei-chan.
Mion whispered quietly. That's right. If I don't push here... No! No! I'll have you give it a score. If you think that curry and onigiri are really that different, you're sorely mistaken.
Huh? Miyabara-kun, what are you saying? How are they the same?
The principal stopped the teacher. It looked like he was giving me one final chance. The judges, having eaten their fill, quietly waited for my statement. In its homeland of India, curry is usually eaten with a type of bread called naan, isn't it? Therefore, you could say that this cuisine we call curry rice is something that we have adopted and modified. Just as the teacher said at the beginning, it's a fusion of Indian and Japanese cuisine.
I know what you're trying to say, Miyabara-kun, but what does that have to do with onigiri?
It's actually very simple. Both curry and onigiri are things made to let you enjoy eating rice. Rice was introduced to Japan from ancient China. Our agricultural forebears watered the fields, fighting the element, disease, and pests to grow and raise rice-centric culture. Yes, the Japanese people have formulated a plethora of dishes, but there were nothing more than attempts to find ways to enjoy eating rice. In other words, curry and onigiri are both the results of rice culture! It was scattered at first, but slowly grew into a steady roar. It was a thunderous applause that praised me.
Enough with the nonsense already. I won't accept this. The teachers are only judging curry, you know. This is out of the question. It obviously deserves 0 points. Miss Kichi-kun did this best. Could you please acknowledge that?
Today's class was supposed to be about curry. What should we do? Mion, stifling her laughter, stepped forward.
There's a story about how when a Michelin 3-star chef from France came to Japan, the people from the hotel he was staying at had a whole bunch of ingredients from France imported, but the chef didn't even give them a second glance.
I wonder why that was. They were ingredients from his homeland.
The chef went to the local fish market and made a dish from fresh fish caught in Japan. The culture of food isn't bound by predetermined rules. It's culture. If you come to Japan, you meld with Japanese culture and make something new. That's how curry and onigiri are the same.
Mion! She was providing fire support. I had to be grateful. The judges were somehow moved by this complicated yet baseless trivia. A stern look washed over the teacher's face as she refolded her arms.
Miyabara-kun, your pot of curry was flipped over, wasn't it? Even though I said at the beginning to be careful.
I'm sorry.
But as Miyabara-kun and Sonozaki-san said, there were no boundaries in cuisine. If it's something then that can amaze people, then it's not something that should be discriminated against just because of the form.
Then...
For spilling your pot, minus 20 points. But just for today, for not giving up and doing your best, plus 20 points. I'll give you 100 points.
Miyabara-san, we did it! My underclassmen leapt at me. A perfect score! We did it, we did it! The curry was spilt and our rice was taken, but we made a comeback. Didn't Mion and Rika and Satoko all also get 100, though? In the end, Rika-chan's curry also received full marks, so everybody but Rina had a perfect score. Since the contest was outside the scope of regular club activities, there weren't any particular penalty games. Rina breathed a sigh of relief.
Now then, as promised, Satoko.
As promised, Sataka, Rika-chan, I'll be taking your curry.
But that means we won't have any lunch. Why?
Satoko stomped angrily on the ground in frustration, but the price of defeat was absolute. Is what I wanted to say, but I'll show you some mercy. You can eat half.
Thank you, Keiichi.
My two proteges peered over from the sidelines, tears of joy streaming down their faces. We exchanged glances that would only be understood amongst men. Only understood amongst perverts, bro.
We did it, Miyabara-san.
This is all thanks to you. We flashed each other a thumbs up. Now I just have to give these to my pupils. I've gotten plenty hungry myself. I guess I'll have one of my onigiri. What, huh? There was no trace of my onigiri. The ones I had set aside for myself included, as I peered around searching for them, the principal clapped a hand on my shoulder.
Gah! When I was listening to that speech you gave, the rice I was chewing grew even more delicious. Gah!
Could it be that you also ate my share?
Gah!
The principal simply laughed without answering. Is this seriously? My eyes half brimming with tears and my stomach rumbling, I was called over by the teacher.
Mayabara-kun, because of the circumstances, I had to give you a perfect score, but you understand, right?
Huh? Understand what? There was an odd glint in the teacher's eyes. If I had to describe it, it was curry-colored. Like a pot of stewing curry, her eyes whirled around in a spiral. A chill washed over me. The teacher clutched me by the shoulders and drew me in closer until our noses were almost touching.
Curry is the world's most respected and sacred of dishes. I will absolutely not allow it to be put in the same
Category as onigiri. You hear me? Curry was created in ancient India, one of the 4 great river valley civilizations, and was raved about during the reign of King Ashoka in Kapiluvustu for the birth of the Shakya at the Internal Food Expo Michelin Twirly. Even the Eiffel Tower was pickled in shimmering curry turmeric weather. You were also asleep or awake. Curry.
Hey, Kichi-san! What are you stumbling around for? Cleaning up is part of the cooking, too.
Kichi-kun, your eyes are all curried. What is this and why?
Curry. He.
Yikes, she got him, huh? It's okay. He'll be back to normal by tomorrow, probably.
It wasn't that long before hunger brought me back to my senses. Wow. What a boring chapter. I'm sorry, I have to say it. That was not... Did I get any new hints? Oh wait, is that not even the chapter? Alright. In the end, all the onigiri was eaten by the principal, so I had to make do without lunch. Skipping lunch, I never knew the afternoon could be so long and painful. A feeling other than drowsiness made me space out.
Are you alright, Kichi-kun? That's why I said you should eat Rina's curry.
As if I could eat this curry with enough salt in it to make my blood pressure rise just by looking at it, is what I'd said and initially refused. I could only regret it. The hunger, the stomach ache.
Well, you did a good job making it through. Your absolutely hopeless situation, that is. K-chan, you're pretty strong when you're cornered, eh?
I don't need any compliments right now. I need food.
There is something for you to eat at home, right?
We don't keep any snacks lying around at home, and I'm out of cup noodles right now.
Ah. Since you're enduring that hunger so much right now, I'm sure tonight's dinner will be really tasty.
I had absolutely no intention of laughing out loud.
Well then, I'll take my leave. I have my part-time job again today. It's really rough when you're not used to the work.
That job, that Angel Mort family restaurant, huh? That uniform was something stimulating. How? What a jerk Keiichi is, bro. Being a waitress really is hard work.
Mi-chan is working as a waitress? Really? What kind of place is it? How?
No, I'm not working at... I'm working at a toy store from the other day. Shion is the waitress.
My bad. I completely forgot that was how it ended up being. I'm sorry. You guys look so similar, I mixed you up.
Kichi-kun, who's Shion?
Rina asked the obvious question. Mion's younger sister. Younger twin sister. She's got a different personality, but she's a dead ringer for Mion.
That's right. We look similar, but our personalities are completely different. I'm very kind and thoughtful, but Shion has a cold and scary personality.
I think that when you guys were born, Shion got all the feminine aspects. Unlike Mion, she's a cute, cheerful girl.
Kei-chan!
Rina interjected as her eyes darted back and forth from our exchange.
Is that true? Rina's never met her. Mi-chan, did you ever tell me about you had a younger sister?
Shion's existence was already being exposed as a cover-up. I couldn't help Mion out here. I could only have her end this charade.
Oh yeah, I still haven't introduced her to you, Rena. Ah, my younger sister's name is Shion.
I don't know. I didn't ask. I never met her when I went into Mi-chan's house.
Yeah, that. You know, I'm the only one that lives with Granny. Shion lives at the family home in Okinomiya. We're not that close, so she doesn't come here too often.
Rena's face indicated she wasn't sure if she was convinced. She was usually a bit of an airhead, but she was unusually sharp when it came to these kinds of things.
Well, it's not a lie. Please believe me.
As she said, "Yeah, I believe you," a smile suddenly blossomed on Rena's face.
Rena wants to meet her. I'll go and see her sometime. What store is she working at? What store?
She's getting more tangled in her little web. I could tell that Mian was getting increasingly frantic. I wanted to help her out, but it was hard for an outsider to butt into a family issue. Sorry, I have to get...
Sorry, I have to get to work. Later. Rena-chan, Kei-chan, see you tomorrow.
Unilaterally ending the conversation, Mian headed home. No matter how you looked at it, she was running away. We'll just label this one as an emergency escape.
Mi-chan was kind of cute. Wonder why. Hee.
Rena giggled in amusement. Whoa. So we went home. I wonder when dinner is. Would lying down be the best way to conserve energy? I sprawled in the entryway without even taking off my shoes. As I was losing the last vestiges of my consciousness, the doorbell rang. It seemed I had a guest. Come on in! It's open! I directed my listless voice at the door. Shion!
Good afternoon. Kei-chan, what are you doing?
It seemed my guest was Mion, or rather Shion. She seemed shocked when she saw me sprawled out in the entryway. Is that Shion? Wait, why? I thought that Shion's existence was an illusion that was limited to when Mion was at the restaurant. That's why I never even considered that Shion would appear here.
I heard from my sister. Because of the club activities today, you weren't able to eat lunch, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of trouble. Satoko spilled my plot and you stole my rice.
But I'm Shion.
She grew red and began to mope. That's right, she was younger twin right now. Sorry, what's up? Did you bring something for me to eat?
Oh my. It's somehow disappointing that you hit the nail right on the head, but here.
With a disappointing smile, Shion held out a small bento box she had hidden behind her back. Huh? You really brought me something to eat? Thanks.
There was still some on the ground beef left over from what my sister brought to school. I knew it was going to be right before dinner, but I wondered if you want it. Am I bothering you?
Not even a bit. I'm really happy. Can I really eat this? Sneaking a look inside the box, I say that she just put some of the leftovers inside would have been a lie. There was an elegant meal stuffed inside. Is it really okay? There's not like a ton of hot sauce mixed in or anything, right?
Jeez. I'm not my sister. I wouldn't do that kind of thing. You don't like it, you don't have to force yourself. I'll just go home and eat it myself.
Saying that, she pouted cutely and made a motion as if to snatch the box back. There were some times that made me doubt that she was the same person as Mion, and this was undoubtedly one of those moments. Why are you such an idiot, Keiichi? This is... I don't know. I feel like this is 100% not Mion. I think this is just Shion. I don't think she's lying to you, bro. I don't mind at all. I want to chow down on it with my thanks from the bottom of my heart.
It's not something to be thankful about that your nose has to run.
Ew. Shion had... Doesn't that mean he's got a boner right now? Gross. Shion, who had thought that I might not take the bento, looked down happily.
There's not much, but Do you want to come in?
Oh, there's not much, but do you want to come in? I can probably make some tea or something.
Sorry, maybe some other time. I'm on my way to work.
Oh, that's right. She did say that before.
Just rinse the box out with water and give it back to my sister tomorrow, please.
Of course. It would only be the proper thing to do after being allowed to eat something that looks this delicious.
Well, then I'll take my leave. One last thing.
Shion grew red again as she looked down once more.
During that contest with the curry, my sister took your rice without permission, right? My sister fools around too much, so sometimes she gets carried away. She wasn't doing it just to be mean.
Hey, it's not like I minded that much. There are no grudges when it comes to club activities, after all. In fact, I should be the one that's thankful for all the thrills and entertainment. Could you tell that to Mion for me?
Yes, I think my sister will be very happy to hear that. Well, then I have to go.
Shion smiled brightly. After bowing deeply, she left and she looked at her watch. I'm happy, but is this really okay? I looked at the bento box that she had left behind. A faint warmth spread through the palm of my hand. If it were Mion, I could see hot sauce, mustard, maybe even a needle being mixed inside. But really, I don't think she would go so far as putting a needle in there. I opened the box once again and hesitantly tasted a bit. I took a bite, and another. There was no funny business. There was no danger at all, for it was delicious. That's right. That was Shion, not Mion, so there shouldn't have been anything to worry about. I rushed back to my room, eating as I gave my thanks. It was so delicious that my stomach could cry. Shion, no Mion. When she heard I was so hungry I could die, she brought this over to me. It was delicious to the last bite. By the way, nothing strange had been mixed in. I was a bit embarrassed at myself for being so skeptical. That was a beautiful little end to that. I'm beginning to like Shion a lot. I really hope she's not also a murderer. I received a new tip. It was delicious. We're going to save real quick. I'm going to view these tips. Wait, I just realized something actually. This actually kind of throws a wrench into the whole. This kind of throws a whole wrench into the whole thing, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because what we know about Shion and Mion is that Mion lives in Higurashi. Hinamizawa. She lives in Hinamizawa. Mion lives in Hinamizawa, and she only lives with her grandma. And she doesn't talk to her sister, Shion. And Shion lives in the Sonozaki house outside of Higurashi. Oh, sorry, Hinamizawa. She lives outside of Hinamizawa, and she lives in Onikoyui or whatever. She lives outside of the city in a different city, the one outside of Hinamizawa. So Shion lives outside of Hinamizawa. Does that mean that in order for Shion and Mion to be completely different people now, Mion would have to have told her sister everything that happened today, when Mion already told us that she's not very close to her sister and they don't talk regularly. In fact, she hasn't talked to her in years, apparently. But in order for Shion to come over to the house, Mion would have had to maybe call her and tell her everything that happened today, and then she would then have to leave the city that she lives in and go all the way to Hinamizawa to Mion's house to pick up the leftovers that Mion had at the school, and then drive from Mion and their grandma's house to our house, to Keiichi's house, to deliver that food after she already cooked. So she would have had to go to Mion's house and cook that meal and then come back. Which is a little confusing and a little complicated. And I think that kind of like makes my idea that that Mion and Shion are different people. I don't know, it makes me question it a little bit. However, we also know that Mion's not actually a real human. Well, she is, but she's probably being possessed by a demon. So, and Mion in the last one said something along the lines of like, there's nothing in Hinamizawa that I don't know about. I wonder if Shion's the same way. Does that make sense? Maybe Mion doesn't have to tell Shion anything because Shion just knows. And it might be the other way around for Mion as well. I think is that how that works? Like, I don't know. It's very confusing. It's very, very confusing. Alright, I'm going to try and read. It was delicious. Hey, Mion. Here.
What is it, Kei-chan?
I thrust the bento box she'd given me yesterday at her face. It had the food you gave me in it. Thanks. It was great. Mion's face quickly flushed bright red. Hey now, you were the one pretending to be Shion when you gave it to me. You're going to give it away if you get all red like that when you're being Mion. At this rate, she might trip and fall right into her own grave, so I decided to help her out. Listen, I was pretty hungry yesterday. Out of the blue, Shion came all the way to my house and gave me some food in the bento box. This is that box. Make sure you wash it out.
Right. Shion is really considerate, huh?
That was so transparent. Was Mion always this terrible at lying? Her expression was different than usual, but it looked strangely cute.
So, what do you think?
You two are like peas in a pod. You're twins, right? Obviously, you'd look the same.
Not that,
Mion looked kind of bewildered, like she was waiting for a specific answer. When she said impression, maybe she didn't mean Shion, but the bento. Of course, it was delicious.
Really?
I never lie about liking food. If I say something's good, then it's objectively good. You can feel free to give my recommendations to every single person you meet. Tell Shion it was seriously great, alright?
Okay. Tell Shion, right? I will. I think she'll be happy.
We're going along with Shion having given it to me, not Mion, aren't we? Yet her laugh, it came from deep down, and it sounded really happy. I guess she really can laugh nicely about that. Just looking at her makes me feel better, too. A sarcastic remark made its way into my tongue, and I swallowed it back. As Mion went to put the bento box back in her bag, she noticed a clattering noise.
Kei-chan, there's something inside, huh? Wow.
Gah! She opened it? The thing inside was a little embarrassing, so I wish she hadn't opened it here. Panicking, I hid it in my hands. My mother told me to put them in as thanks. I didn't come up with it or anything. Don't get the wrong idea.
It's so pretty. Candy?
There were a handful of candies neatly wrapped in paper inside a sparkling clean bento box. When I was cleaning the box out yesterday in the sink, Mom came over and interrogated me, and I fessed up as to who gave me the food. Then she told me that something like this is called for a display of gratitude. I didn't want to because I was embarrassed, so I argued that I wouldn't be like me to do that. Well, that's what happened. I was so embarrassed it felt like fire might shoot out of my face. Mion laughing the whole thing off she usually would be fine, but for some reason she was staring at the candy in the box with fascination.
Thank you.
Don't thank me. Thank my mom. She put them in there. But besides, you're not the one I need to be thanking, right, Mion? Those are for Shion, okay?
Ah, right. You're right. Okay. I'll be sure to tell Shion. I just know she'll be happy.
Mion, looking a little downtrodden, put the lid back on the box. She seemed like I ended up saying something a little mean at the end.
Mi-chan, you look so sort of cozy today. Did something happen? Did it?
Perhaps she caught a fever. The red in her face is probably due to the increased body temperature. Hey, Rika, why are you petting my head? Satoko, I'm sure you'll be able to catch a few fevers soon enough.
Pet. What does that even mean? Well, now I'm starting to think that... I don't know. This is confusing. I feel like the game is now purposely showing me that Shion and Mion are the same person, but I don't know. I'm thinking it's just playing me for a loop. I still think that Shion and Mion are different people, but I could be proven wrong. I guess I'll be right in the middle. Shion is both two people and one person until I'm proven right that it's two people. I'm on Shion and Mion are two people train. I might have explained this before, but phys ed at our school is really just an exercise in disorder. After some random warm-ups, the rest of the time is spent doing whatever. You're free to cause a ruckus or just fall asleep. I'm not really sure, but doesn't the Board of Education have some sort of curriculum for this? Something like, when you're this old, you should have this amount of physical ability?
I have no idea what you're saying, Kichi-san. It's rather difficult to understand.
Well, you see, it's something like a rule for teachers to follow during class.
Maybe you weakling city folk need something like that. But do you really think us country-raised kids would lag behind in physical ability?
We're better athletes than you'd think, Eiichi.
Come to think of it, they might be right. If we all lined up for a race, there was a good chance I'd finish dead last if I didn't start off well. Let's just pray that when a brutal penalty game is at stake, the 100-meter dash isn't a club activity. On that note, I watched too much television, so I'm fantastically tired. I'll be using the time to catch up on my sleep. It's fourth period and I'm completely starved. If I don't sleep now, will I ever? As I begin to sprawl out on top of a pipe... On a pipe? Mion grabbed me by the collar.
Tisk, tisk, tisk. Do you really think I'd let you sleep in peace and quiet?
What? That look on your face? I'd require more courage to try and take a nap than not. Good grief. Which means, is it going to start again? Now! Just killing time with idle chit-chat until the bell rings is impossible for us hot-blooded youth, isn't it? Shall we start a club activity? No, it's Mion. Humph! Just as I thought. It's come to this. What's today's game? Uh-oh. Hopefully my game did not crash. Oh, there we go. Now that this is happening, taking a nap is impossible. Not just that, with this sleep-deprived head of mine, I'm as good as a mincemeat. I've got to get my brain into gear.
Rina thinks that we should decide what today's penalty game should be before we start.
Hehehehe. Rina knows what's up. I prepared something super special today.
She began to announce the cruel penalty game with a grand spinning flourish. But before she could do that...
I'm sorry. I have something that I wanted to do.
Of all people, it was Rika-chan announcing her non-participation. Even rare events do eventually occur. Losing her timing, Mion spun like a top as she tumbled to the ground. Classic Mion.
What? Huh? What's the matter? Are you not feeling well?
Oh, that's right. Mi-chan, she has to practice for the Watangashi.
That's right. It's this Sunday. Rika's in the middle of a super serious training right now.
Let's go. Are we gonna get to the fucking Watangashi finally? This fucking chapter, hopefully?
I've been working too hard lately, so my arms hurt.
I see. Well, there's nothing that can be done. There's no point in doing anything if we can't get everybody together. Today, let's just take it easy.
I'm very sorry, but I'll try my best.
Yeah, good luck. We'll be cheering you on.
When Mion announced that today's club activities was canceled, Rika-chan and Satoko headed off behind the school building. Only I was left alone, completely clueless as to what everybody else was talking about. What was that about? Is Rika-chan training for a competition or something?
Rika-chan is a shrine maiden for Watangashi, so she has to perform a ritual dance. It's practice for that.
Why don't you explain things in order? First of all, what is a Watangashi? Next, what do you mean by shrine maiden? Last, what do you mean by ritual dance?
Huh? Didn't you get the notice at your house, Kei-chan? Wasn't it written there? The Watangashi festival is this Sunday.
Huh? Come to think of it, I have a feeling Mom did say something about it during dinner the other day. The Watangashi festival is a festival that happens at the shrine on Sunday every June. It's very lively. I see. But Watangashi sounds like a pretty strange name for it. Is it something like the Lantern Festival where they had a memorial for the dead by floating things down the river?
Oh, I figured you might guess right, Kei-chan. The Watangashi, or Cotton Drift Festival, as that the name implies, where we set cotton adrift down the river.
The cotton you see is from futons or jackets, so it'd be something like a futon memorial. They also pile futons up on an altar.
I've heard of people leaving offerings of things like needles or kitchen knives to their ancestors to casualties of war, but an offering of futons is a first for me. What's the history behind that? Mion tilted her head pensively.
I don't think there's a complicated backstory to it. The winters around here are pretty harsh, so things like warm futons and coats to ward off the cold are fairly important, I guess.
Ah, I see. In other words, it's something like giving thanks to the futons that took care of you during the winter. Then the Shrine Maiden holds a memorial service for them and set them adrift. That's what what Watangashi is? I bet fucking Mion is lying about that. I bet Mion actually knows full well what the point of the cotton is. She's just not fucking telling me. Mion and Rita indicated that I had the correct answer with a round of applause.
And you see, that shrine maiden performing the memorial is Rika-chan.
Oh, so Rika-chan is a shrine maiden. Now that you mention it, Rika-chan does have a mystical air about her.
Right. Rika-chan is a shrine maiden outfit. Hello! So cute!
It certainly does seem like it would suit her. Yeah, it might be cute. I finally get what you're saying. Rika-chan's training for her performance as a shrine maiden then.
That would be it. The Shrine Maiden has to purify a number of futons as part of the ceremony. It's practice for that. It's a lot of hard work.
The shrine maiden has to carry a large ceremonial hoe as part of the rite, and it's really heavy for Rika-chan.
Well, Rika-chan is pretty small. Exactly how heavy is that hoe?
It's pretty heavy. Enough that Rika-chan has been practicing with the mochi ballad.
Wait a minute. That's way too heavy. Forget about Rika-chan. That'd be rough for even me. Shit'd be rough for you, bro. It's a
sacred ceremonial hoe. If she dropped it by accident, it'd be big trouble.
Well, it's a once a year kind of deal. All we can do is cheer from the sidelines. It'll be okay. She pulled it off last year. Really? Then the least I can do is cheer her on. Even something that little would help, right? I was rather curious about exactly how she practiced. Mion laughed as she shook her head.
Leave her alone. If you go, Rika-chan will get all cute and you won't be able to practice.
Huh? I didn't quite understand what Mion was saying.
You see, Rika-chan doesn't like showing people how hard she works, okay? So just leave her be.
Even the always cool and aloof Rika-chan has times when she sweats while giving it her all. Because she was always so well and put together, she didn't want people to see an ungainly side of her. It's not like I couldn't understand that feeling. All I can do is pray for her success, huh? Do your best, Rika Furude. I'm cheering for you. Well then, I climbed up onto the pipe and plopped down on my side. Hooray! Hooray, Rika-chan! In order to transmit more of the psychic waves of encouragement, I'll be entering a meditative state now.
So you're just going to sleep after all?
That was funny. The lackadaisical noontime ended up giving way too mind-numbing afternoon classes. Rebounding from yesterday's hunger, I ate too much for lunch today, leaving me in a horrible condition. Ugh, I might have gorged myself a bit too much. I'll have to endure afternoon classes.
Kichi-kun had an amazing appetite today.
Basically, you always eat like a pig, but today was a whole different level.
Yesterday I skipped lunch, right? That hunger just soaked right in. This time, no matter how much I ate, my hunger knew no bounds.
I get you. But really, K-chan, you always finish your lunch down the last bite. Heck, even down to the last grain of rice.
With food, you show your appreciation for the person who made it by eating it, you know? If you leave any behind, it's rude to the person who put in all that effort. Hearing that, Mion's eyes momentarily widened in surprise, followed by a cool laugh.
K-chan, really? At first glance, you seem unruly and irresponsible, but you're actually pretty conscientious. Well, disciplined or something like that.
Oh, well, Rina thinks so too. Kichi-kun is a lot kinder than he looks.
Both of them were probably trying to compliment me, but I had a strange feeling I wasn't being complimented at all.
That's not true. I just wanted to say that there's a big gap between your appearance and your personality.
And I'm saying that it's not a compliment. Hey, Sonozaki, Miyabara, we're in the middle of class. Oh.
Hey, Sonozaki, Mayabara, we're in the middle of class. How far did you get, Sonozaki-san? Bring your notes up here.
Startled, Mion vocalized a rather easy understand utterance. She was so enthralled in the conversation she had stopped working completely.
Doing all right.
You haven't progressed at all. You're in the highest grade, so you have to step up. You have to step up.
That Mion, it looks like she's getting lectured. Poor bastard.
Appearances can be deceiving, in other words. Actually, appearances might be opposite of reality.
Huh? You say something interesting. Responding to Rina's seemingly profound statement, I turned my gaze to where Satoko was happily studying together with Rika-chan. Are you saying that brat Satoko is actually really meek? If I went by what Rina literally said, then that would be the case. I could hardly imagine Satoko being meek and gentle like a girl some fairy tale. Satoko-chan's been rude lately, but just a while ago she was pretty different. Oh.
Satoko-chan's been rude lately, but just a while ago she was pretty different. She acted really spoiled and always... Yup! Keep this a secret from Satoko-chan, okay?
That Satoko acting so cute? For Satoko to play coy, I think that would have to be some part of some calculated plot. Even if she has to hide behind someone, I wouldn't think it was because she was attached to them. I think it's because her brother died. But since it came up, I tried to imagine a gentle and I don't know that word. Coquettish Satoko? Oh. Hey, Satoko?
What is it, Onisama?
Satoko smiled cutely and walked towards me. By the way, for every 3 steps forward Satoko took, for some reason I took 3 steps away.
Huh? Onisama, why are you running away?
Sorry, Satoko. For you to approach me with an affectionate smile on your face, I just have to think it's some sort of trap.
That's so mean. Onisama, you meanie. Wah!
Sorry, I didn't mean to be so mean. The weeping Satoko came closer to me. I'm a sucker for tears.
Click. Clank.
Huh? A bear trap? My leg was being clamped down by a jagged metal teeth. For real?
Oh ho ho ho. You fell for it. Now for the next part.
Satoko raised her right arm triumphantly and traps began to trigger one after another. Suddenly the wall sprang forward, throwing me 3 blocks away. And there I saw a giant metal ball covered in spikes hurtling towards me. On top of that, in the direction of the ball, would knock me into a giant guillotine. For real?
I'm not really sure, but Kichi-kun, you're not thinking of anything completely ludicrous right now, are you?
Not really. I'm actually thinking of normal stuff.
That's a lie. You've got the kind of look on your face that says, I'm going to be crushed by a giant spiked metal ball.
How could my expression convey what I was thinking like that? Sorry. Imagining a meek and gentle Satoko is impossible right now. I'll try again when I'm in better shape. Next, I looked over at Rika-chan, who was working diligently on some kanji drills. In contrast to Satoko, her default state was meek and gentle. If Rika-chan came at me saying,
Onisama.
I'd hug her tightly. I could get used to that. God, what a fucking prick.
Kichi-kun, you're drooling.
Oh my god. Sorry. Then how about Rika-chan? Are you saying that her appearance is deceiving as well? Saying that out loud, I felt a tinge of doubt. Was Rika-chan really all sweet? Despite her appearance, she really was quite sly, sweetly, how do you put it, evading things deftly. I get the feeling that Rika-chan isn't only just sweet, her appearance is definitely deceiving. I couldn't put exactly what I was imagining into words, but Rita managed to say what I wanted to. She turned to me with an impish look in her eyes, like she was saying, you shouldn't say something like that.
When Rika-chan grows up, I'm sure she'll become an incredibly devilish beauty with men wrapped all around her finger. Don't you think that would be cool?
Rina said that lightheartedly, but as a man, I couldn't laugh at it. The scary part about that was that it felt like it could be true. Noticing my gaze, Rika-chan turned towards me and let loose with an angelic smile. Both Rina and I, feeling as if I was directed towards us personally, had our hearts skip a beat.
Oh, so cute, so cute.
Rina, your nose is bleeding. Appearances can be deceiving, huh? Well then, what about her dear leader, Mion? I stared at her as she tried to weasel her way out of her scolding by the teacher. By Rita's theory, that unrefined, calculating conniving Mion also had a side of her that belittled. By Rina's theory, that unrefined, calculating, conniving Mion also had a side of her that belied appearances. Then what you're saying is that Mion, despite her appearance, is actually a good person?
Mi-chan is a good person.
Oh, well, that is true. But what I'm trying to say is... ...
Yep, I know what you're trying to say, Kichi-kun.
Catching on that I was struggling to express my feelings as words, Rina smiled even more brightly. No what?
Mi-chan is mysterious, right? She's a girl, but she's a guy.
That's right. Mion was more than aware that she was a girl, but it was exactly as Rina said. When Mion livened up the mood, it wasn't as though she felt like a guy or a girl specifically, but a friend of the same gender. If she were a guy, we'd probably be like 2 peas in a pod. Although that's the same way it is right now. Ahaha!
But you see, even that Mi-chan is actually really feminine.
Rina? How much did Mion pay you exactly?
It's not true! Jeez, I'm trying to have a serious conversation, you know?
Rina began to pout. Now probably wasn't the right time to joke around.
Mi-chan is the club president, so she's trying hard to lead everybody, but she's really a cute girl. I really don't want you to forget that, Kichi-kun.
Rina's gaze focused off into the distance beyond where Mion was. The Mion that I met at Angel Mort was unimaginably different compared to the Mion that I normally knew. I still think that they're different people. Flustered and hesitant from the unfamiliar job, it was a far cry from the brash and confident Mion. Even though she had to hurry to work, she went through all the trouble to bring me food when I was on the brink of starvation. And she did so not as Mion, but as Shion. What exactly was Shion to Mion? Sister. A twin sister. What kind of person was Mion exactly?
Kichi-kun, you probably couldn't even begin to imagine,
As if to say it was our little secret, Rina held her finger up to her lips as she giggled. Mion's finally free from the teacher's preaching, returned to her seat, cradling her head to hide her embarrassment.
Humph. This old man, you see, thinks that grade school is enough for everything you need to study for in life.
Saying that, she plopped down in her seat violently. Mion was actually really feminine, right? I wonder if I can meet Shion again. I wanted to talk to her again. Clang, clang. The principal waved around the bell that served as the school's chime. The teacher rushed back to the blackboard and began to list everybody's homework assignments.
Well, it looks like there's gonna be a lot of homework today. Gotta buckle down.
Well then, that means even Rina.
Huh? What do you mean?
Appearances can be deceiving. Would that apply to you too? Oh. Did Kei-chan finally wake up?
Huh? Kichi-kun, how do you see me? How?
The Rina Rugu that I knew sometimes took things too far, but was generally a kind and gentle, ideal girl.
Really? Then that makes me happy, I guess.
If she was the opposite of what she seemed, that would make her. And if I were really
the opposite?
Just try saying it, I won't be mad. That's what I felt she meant. Rina is... Rina
is?
Even if you were the opposite, you'd still be Rina, right? The question shouldn't have been so nerve-wracking to answer. Maybe it was because the person in question was staring at me, but even saying that took a strange amount of effort.
But that's not fair, Kichi-kun. It bothers me when you say that.
Perhaps unable to endure my silence, Rina's face began to burn red with embarrassment.
Rina. Kei-chan. Let's go home.
Mion walked over and started getting ready to go home. Whenever school is over, she really does get noticeably more energetic. It was the same relaxing walk home as always. Digging around in my pocket on a whim, I noticed something that shouldn't have been there was missing. His penis.
What's the matter, Kei-chan?
The key to my house I always carry around is gone. Man, where did I lose it? It's fine today since my parents are home, but still, this is bad.
That sure is troublesome. Did you forget it somewhere? Or did you drop it?
Which one was it? Did I take it with me this morning to the first place? Huh?
Kei-chan, did that key have anything that would make it stand out?
Yeah, it's on a keychain. It was a blue fur seal, something I made for summer homework a long time ago.
Huh? Does it have its eyes shut like it's taking a nap?
Oh, how did you know? Yeah, that's it. Mion looked away and began to whistle.
See, you went for dinner at Angel Mort a couple days ago, right? That night the staff found a key, and there was a fur seal keychain attached to it.
Wait, he didn't know he didn't have it for days? I thought he... Okay, whatever. I don't care that much. As she said that, she suddenly grew flustered and added that Shion had told her about it. Huh? So I dropped it then?
You aren't so glad you found it? I'm sure they're looking after it for you.
That's right. Why don't you go? Shion looks the same as me, so you'll know her by my sight.
This was a rather unexpected development. Once again, I had no choice but to go and meet this Shion. But I also had to thank her for the bento from yesterday. Besides, taking some time and chatting with this other side of Mion might be interesting. Half jokingly, I began to think about things like this. Right, Angel Mort was it? I'll head over to Shion's restaurant and get my key back. While I'm at it, having a nice spot of tea might not be a bad idea.
You sound like an English gentleman. That totally doesn't suit you, Kei-chan. Is this the restaurant? The one that Mi-chan's little sister is working at?
Yeah, why don't we go together, Rina?
No, sorry to disappoint you, but I have plans with my father today. Some other time.
Her father, huh? Shh. Her father didn't really come up a whole lot in the last one, right? Look how much bigger her left hand is compared to her right hand. That's kind of funny. And I forget what I was gonna say without that, but plans with her father. Right before the Watangashi. Now we know every single year the people in Hinamizawa gather up and they probably pick somebody that they want to kill. Unless this is a curse and the curse kind of tells them which person to kill. But I think it's kind of more like they gather up and they decide on somebody to kill. And last time it was Tamataki. And this time it's gonna be somebody else. Probably Keiichi-kun again. But something about this line, I don't know. It makes me think that that's a lie. But maybe I'm dwelling on it too much, actually. Rina seemed pretty disappointed about having to miss such a great opportunity.
You said they're twins, but do they really look that much alike? Enough to mistake which is which?
Yeah, they're totally the same. At least on the outside. Unlike Mion, she's well-mannered and really cute, though. In response to my teasing, Mion pouted and began to argue with me. I couldn't help but burst out laughing at Mion's little farce. After all, they weren't just identical, they were the same person. I doubt that they're the same person. The game's really trying to push that. They're the same person, but I'm sticking to my fucking gut on that. They're not the same person. After going home, I changed my clothes and dug my bike out of the garage. Just thinking that I would be able to meet Shion again and gave me a mysterious feeling. Shion, a name for a different kind of Mion. She was a mysterious and ridiculous person, believing she had fooled everyone like that. I noticed that I was pedaling along quite happily. Could it be that I was looking forward to meeting Shion? I felt a sense of giddy anticipation, like I was headed towards a new friend's house for the first time. What Rina said about Mion actually being really feminine sprang to mind once again. The guilt from spying on another side of Mion, the self-consciousness from being the only one that knew about that side, these feelings mixed together. That was Shion for you. Mion's little twin sister. Until she felt like coming out and admitting she was Mion, it was fine to just call her Shion, right? Mion might be trying to have some fun by acting out as a different persona. As I reached the top of the steep hill, the horizon expanded before me. I was almost at the station. The last time I wasn't embarrassed since I was here with Dad, but this time I was alone. I was strangely self-conscious about it. Meet Shion, get my key back. That was all the task was supposed to be. If I dawdled around like this, maybe Shion would find me before she headed in for work. Hey, what are you doing, Keiichi Maebara? You're just here to get your key back, you know? It's not like you're some love-struck schoolboy here to hand over a love letter. The thoughts inside my head were slowly turning into a jumbled mess. I came to the realization that I was downright giddy. That's why, for just a bit, just a tiny little bit, I got a little carried away and did something really stupid. Got hit by a car. Boom! I kicked over a parked motorcycle that was blocking the sidewalk. It was in the way, sure, but there was absolutely no need for me to kick it. I definitely think I got too carried away. Thunk! Clack! Crash! As the three bikes toppled, One after another, like dominoes, the loud noises they caused snapped me back to my senses. Oh shit! The hell you think you're doing? The owners of those 3 bikes were right there. They looked exactly like what you'd call thugs up to no good. They lifted their heads up in an imposing manner and yelled angrily in a way that I had never heard before. The 3 of them beelined towards me, the worn-down heels of their thin-soled shoes slapping noisily against the pavement. I could only stare listlessly, as if I were watching some far-off event that didn't concern me at all. By the time I realized it, I had been grabbed by the collar and lifted on my tiptoes. Don't be playing dumb. You knocked it over, didn't you? Huh? The fuck? The 3 thugs were completely ignoring the rules of grammar by the way they spoke was enough to make me tremble. Just like that, my composure drained away. My legs buckled and my throat grew dry enough to crack. I'm so sorry. I accidentally... Accident my ass. You kicked it, didn't you, dumbass? I was completely at fault, so there was nothing I could say in my defense. As a result, I pulled even higher. The hell, man? The paint's all scuffed, you brat. Who put you up to this? This is your goddamn fault. The 3 of them continued to yell at me. I had no idea what each of them were saying. Getting further enraged that I was only listening while dumbstruck, they grabbed my empty plastic crate from a nearby store and began to smash it repeatedly against a telephone pole. Cracks formed in the crate, plastic shards flying everywhere. They then slammed it full force to the shuttered storefront. Smash! The shutter let out a frighteningly loud noise. Still not satisfied, they flipped over the case of empty cans, scattering its contents all over the place. This was not normal. It was something you saw often on television or in manga, but I never thought seeing it in person would be this terrifying. I became painfully aware that the safety of civilized society was only held up by such a frail concept of morals. My knees clattered together noisily. Static began to pepper my nose. This is what you would call absolute terror. There was nothing I could do to stop this frightening spectacle of violence. I could only pray for help. The fear I felt was just too much. They should fucking kill him. Would somebody help me? My gaze floundered at the surrounding area. I was surrounded by these 3 hoodlums. No way there would be a passerby brave enough to intervene. Maybe this was what you call reaping what you sow. If I were a passerby, there would be no doubt that I'd ignore what was going on. So this was somewhat of a cosmic retribution. Fucking say something! I fucking stab you! Angry yelling, fucking say something, mate. Fucking stab you, mate. Angry yelling loud enough to rattle my eardrums spewed forth right into my front of my face. My waning consciousness was forcefully dragged back to the forefront. The thug had cocked back his free hand, and twisted his body when suddenly a metallic taste filtered through the back of my throat. A chill ran down my spine like a jolt of electricity. Seeing what was going to happen, I squeezed my eyes shut as tightly as possible and grit my teeth. Punch him. Punch him. Come on, please.
You're making quite a racket, you stupid pieces of trash. Get out of my sight.
That voice was a short distance away. Still holding me by the collar, the 3 thugs spun around to look behind them. The fuck you say? Standing there was Mion. She stood there displaying an imposing stature that I'd never seen before. She didn't have the same look on her face as she did when we were playing around during club. Those were the eyes that would instill fear in anyone who looked upon them, the eyes of a raptor. They were the epitome of terror. At the same time, they were the most reassuring things in the world.
I'll only say this one more time. Let go of K-chan and get lost.
Mion, without an ounce of fear, laid down her ultimatum. Of course, there was no way these 3 wouldn't go absolutely berserk. The situation instantly turned explosively dangerous. You fucking bitch! I'll fucking bash your head in, mate. Stop it, Mion. These guys are like rabid dogs. No amount of bluffing will work. Mion, it's dangerous. So rude. I knew what I was saying was pathetic, but I couldn't let Mion get involved in this. No matter how you look at it, Mion was only bluffing. But did Mion even know the meaning of the word bluff? However, the reason behind everything soon became apparent. They were slowly increasing in number little by little. Is she going to beat them all up? At first, it was only businessmen of their way home stopping to take a look. Then it was housewives in the middle of shopping, like taking a gander. Next, what seemed like the owner of some store showed up, and it was pretty clear he wasn't just looking. Around Mion, there was already about 7 people gathered. It felt different than people coming out to support a friend. If I had to say why, it was because the group that gathered was diverse in age and gender. The 3 thugs seemed to slowly realize that there was something strange about the situation. Who the hell are these guys? Behind them, at some point, 4 more people of different clothes and ages had gathered. A girl who looked to be in middle school, a man wearing a bakery apron, an old lady in a house cleaning schmuck. More and more people of various ages. Their gazes comparable to Mion's were of hostility, of intimidation. Before I realized it, over 10 people had formed a ring around us. At that moment, 5 elementary schoolers ran in and joined in the circle. There were some familiar faces, some of our classmates. Then these people were residents of Hinamizawa? More and more people from Hinamizawa gathered around. In obvious contrast, the residents of Okinomiya were passing by as quickly as possible. The fuck are you guys? The fuck go away! The group surrounding us had suddenly swelled to around 20 people. Completely encircled, the faces of the thugs began to show the first signs of panic. Nobody spoke a word, Mion included. That made everything completely unnatural, and depending on which side you were on, completely terrifying. Only the thugs' voices echoed out like they were screaming. Somebody took a step forward, closing the gap between them. As they did, everybody else took a step forward, shrinking the circle. The hoodlums went pale as they were pushed together, back to back, while still yelling angrily. They were trying to string together vulgarities, but for some reason it sounded like they were crying out for help. All right, what's going on here? It was sudden. A solidly built officer cut his way through the crowd. At some point, 2 police cars had arrived. Some passerby had undoubtedly called for them. Several burly officers appeared from inside 2 vehicles.
Oh, officer, good timing. There you go. The extortionist caught red-handed. Please arrest them.
The fuck? This brat done one that wrong here? Mion, returning to her usual self, was nonchalantly pointing out the hoodlums to the police.
Shake your dreads.
Of course, the thugs were furious, but now that I had come to this, there was nothing they could do. It was their loss. Okay, come over here for a sec. Come on already. The officers handcuffed the thugs and dragged them towards the patrol cars. The fuck? Let me go! We're the victims here. Are you listening, damn it? No matter how much of a ruckus they caused, the officers paid no heed. In the blink of an eye, they were crammed inside the 2 vehicles. They could still be heard yelling while inside the police cars, but what they were saying was no longer intelligible. Are you all right? Are you injured? It's Oshi-san. He was probably a detective. The man leading the police peered at my face. No, not really. Well, that's a bit of a silver lining there. Well then, have a good year. The portly man, after taking a quick look around, addressed the crowd. Thank you, citizens, for your timely report. Thank you for your efforts. We were able to keep the peace today. It's a wonderful thing.
Thank you for your hard work, Detective Oshi. As a citizen, I thank you for your daily efforts. It's an honor for a detective from the 1st Division to come all this way.
The way Shion talked didn't have a very pleasant tone. It was a coincidence. Happened to hear the call over the radio on my way back from the prefectural office. I just made a little detour.
Please keep up the good work. I pray for your success in the future endeavors.
Foo. Oh, shucks. It's a good thing there were no injuries, though.
Oshi-san, we're done here.
Oh.
Oshi-san, we're done here. Let's go.
Well then, have a good year. I'm sorry, could you make way? The detective named Oshi, after jovially making pleasantries, lumbered over to the waiting police car. I quickly set off, disappearing down the city street. It was over so quickly. So quickly I was dumbstruck. When are you not? I didn't even get to ask the officer what was going on. It was like they came here quickly to disperse the mob before any trouble could start. After making sure the police cars had left, Mion snapped her fingers sharply.
All right, that's a wrap. And don't come back.
That was the signal. The tension melted away in an instant and everybody began smiling. A middle-aged man held me up.
Are you okay, young Mayabara? Next time, pick your fights a bit better.
It's not like I wanted to fight.
Are you hurt anywhere? If you hit your head, it would be a good idea to get an x-ray taken.
An older lady I didn't know the name of was concerned about my injury.
You were lucky this happened right in front of the station where it was busy. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to gather as many people. Next time, be more careful. City kids these days are pretty unruly.
Rumble. I was even warned by the old lady in a schmuck. As Mion finished applauding the dispersing group from their efforts, she strode over to me. Where is she? It's frozen. Come on, man.
Well, you're pretty good, K-chan. But I also think you should be more careful about who you pick a fight with.
Thanks, Mion. You saved my bacon there.
Like I said, I'm Shion.
She made a troubled expression as she turned her gaze downward, blushing in embarrassment.
I heard from my sister that first seal keychain was yours, K-chan.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was just heading to the restaurant.
And you ended up feeling so excited that you got mixed up in something weird?
Now it was my turn for my face to go red. I didn't want to admit, but that she was spot on. Well, I was just unlucky, but you really saved me, Shion.
You don't have to thank me. So if you see somebody else getting bullied, help them out, okay? We value that kind of thing very highly here.
I was well versed in that sense of camaraderie, but the way I was rescued just now, something seems a little off about that. While I was helped out, it was honestly to an almost disturbing degree.
You're coming to the restaurant, right? You must be tired, so why don't you relax for a little bit? My treat.
It seems that she caught the glimmer of suspicion in my eyes. Without waiting for my answer, Shion began walking. Higurashi when they cry. Okay. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Is not that the end of the chapter? I think it's going to go into something else. Yeah, it is. Okay. I think that helps my theory, honestly. The Mion and Shion are two different people. I said earlier, I think that it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense as to how Mion told Shion, and then she left Okinomiya and then came all the way to Hinamizawa just to give him a bento box or whatever, right? That didn't really make a whole lot of sense, but I said maybe since they're demons, they like talk to each other or whatever, right? So like, what if they like share a mind, right? What if they all share a mind and they or Mion and Shion share a mind and they can communicate at all times, like whatever Mion knows, Shion knows, and whatever Shion knows, Mion knows, kind of like that. And what just happened there? It felt really weird. It felt like Invasion of the Body Snatchers a little bit, where they all just kind of like know, you know what I mean? Like they just know because they all just are on the same wavelength, you know? Like maybe that's what the fucking curse is. I'm leaning more towards curse too, because that was really weird. How like they're all residents of Hinamizawa and they all at the same time came over to help Keiichi get rid of these thugs or whatever. As soon as Shion just like noticed them, like they all just like suddenly stopped and then like went completely like nobody said anything. They just like fucking surrounded them and just like stared at them. You know what I mean? Like this weird whatever intent they were trying to show them. It's really strange. That was really weird. Yeah, but I think that proves my theory that they're actually two different people. Well, it doesn't prove it, but I think that's a huge strong evidence that they're two different people. And I'm sticking to the two different people. And I'm gonna be fucking right about that. I promise I'm gonna be right about that. I'm gonna get some water real quick. Another thing I just remembered. Remember when Rena in the last one, in number 1, part 1, when Rena was chasing me with an axe and she was gonna kill me, and then I like pushed her over and then ran away and got away from her. But then suddenly, even though Keiichi didn't know where the fuck he was, he ended up by the junkyard, and just at the same time he ended up at the junkyard, 2 dudes ended up there at the same time. How do they know where Keiichi was? How do they know where he was? Right? I think there's a group mind thing. I think they think in a group. I think that's how it works. I think that's honestly how it works. And the other one, I guess I was thinking the van, but maybe that one doesn't make as much sense, but I'm pretty sure the van only showed up after Keiichi passed somebody by. Then like a few minutes later, the van showed up because Keiichi wasn't by his friends that day, so they couldn't have. So nobody really could tell where he was until that one person saw that he was there, and then the van shows up right after. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I think it's time to start again. After cooling off a bit inside the restaurant, little by little, I realized I was still on edge. There were spots here and there on my body that hurt, probably because I had been so stiff with nervousness. Shion, who had changed into her uniform, brought over 2 glasses of iced coffee. Thank God she changed into her uniform.
Here you go, iced coffee on the house. Just bring me the coupon Just bring this coupon with you to the register and I'll be no charge. Charge.
My patheticness really knew no bounds. But since she went through the trouble, I might as well take her up on her offer. Even though I had started out as such a lovely day, I had to get carried away and do that stupid thing. I had completely ruined it. But really, you really saved my hide there. I've really come to see you as a reliable...
Even I was scared that Kei-chan was in trouble, so I had to be brave and do my best.
While a little embarrassed by what she just said, Shion made a show of folding her arms boldly. Shion, really, thank you. I was thanking Shion, but I really wanted to thank Mion. Mion, really, thank you.
Now, cheer up a little. If you feel indebted, then when you have the chance, you should help somebody in need. Like, for example, if I'm ever in trouble, please come and save me.
Yeah, of course. It's a promise.
You absolutely have to.
Taking advantage of my words, she seemed happy about my promise. So if I'm ever in trouble,
If I'm ever in trouble, Kei-chan, you'll come and save me. I hope trouble comes soon.
Ooh.
You finally smiled,
she said as she smiled herself, poking me in the cheek.
A downtrodden Kei-chan is as good as an imposter. Come on, smile.
That tickles! Stop! Thanks to Shion's meddling, I finally cheered up a little. Thank God. All the muscles in my body that had stiffened because of the incident finally began to relax a little.
When you're in a better mood, don't get a little hangry. Don't you get a little hungry? I'm kind of hungry, so I want to eat some pancakes or something. Do you want some, Kei-chan?
I wanted to show a little restraint, but restraint wasn't really my thing. That's why I replied without any.
They're good, right? I'm pretty picky when it comes...
They're good, right? I'm pretty picky when it comes to pancakes.
Yeah, don't worry. Our pancakes have a pretty good reputation.
Shion ordered some pancakes from a nearby waitress. How do you be picky about pancakes, bro? It's bread and butter and syrup. That's all it is. An employee ordered from another employee. An employee ordering from another employee seems kind of weird. Hey, speaking of that, wasn't Shion in the middle of a shift? She's just slacking off while talking to me. She actually just started her shift.
I told my uncle that you saved me when I was surrounded by hoodlums, so he's rewarding you. So I have the manager's permission.
That's exactly the opposite of what happened. Is that all right?
It's perfectly fine.
By the time the pancakes arrived, we had entered into a relaxed conversation. As the two of us ate pancakes, we livened the mood with some chit-chat. About what was on TV, celebrities, that kind of thing. Hobbies, food, really nothing more than idle chit-chat. Talking together like this, I once again became conscious of Shion being a girl. Hey now, that's funny talk, Keiichi Maebara. Shion and Mion are the same person. I don't think so. I think you're fucking wrong about that, Keiichi. If there was anything different between them, it was only whether or not Mion admitted she was Mion. But given that, how come our conversations was this different?
Kei-chan, you don't think of my sister as a girl, do you?
That's not true! If she were a guy, I'd punch the living daylights out of her.
I think the reason you guys get along so well is because you have that kind of platonic relationship. That's a pretty rare and enviable thing to have, don't you think?
I don't get what you're saying, but it really would be a waste to treat her like a girl.
Hey, Kei-chan, that's sexist.
Hearing the word sexist would cause for introspection. What was I prejudiced against Mion and Shion for? Mion was Mion. She was the best friend a guy could have, no reservations, and head and shoulders above me when it came to club activities. If I had met her 5 years earlier, my life would have probably been a lot more fun. Of this, I had no doubt. Then what about Shion? She was Mion's little sister, and it hadn't even been 3 days since we met. Her relationship was much more distant, and the only thread we had in common was that I knew her sister. And for Shion, it was the same. I was somebody she met 3 days ago only because I was a friend of her sister's. The difference between Mion and Shion? Friendliness? Familiarity? Playing around with those unclear thoughts for a while, I had stopped listening to Shion.
Hypothetically, okay? Are you listening?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm listening.
This is just a hypothetical question, okay? Both me and my sister are in trouble, okay? We're dangling off the side of a cliff. Which one of us do you save? You can only save one.
She wasn't saying it to tease me, but had a playful tone behind her voice. That's not a nice question. I want to save you both, but I can't do that.
Right. You can only save either Shion or Mion. Who do you save?
Why don't you guys write in the comments which one you would save? I personally think I would probably... maybe Shion. I think Shion. We've known Mion longer, but Mion's also a demon. So far, Shion hasn't been a demon yet. I'm pretty sure she's a demon. Like, I'm more than certain she's a demon, but we haven't seen it yet. So in my eyes, she's less of a demon than Mion is. Anyway. If it were Mion, I don't think she'd be in that situation in the first place, as it's something she could easily get out of herself. But what about the normal frail Shion? I guess I don't have a choice.
It's not my sister, right?
If Mion and Shion were different people, I suppose it would come to that. I couldn't confirm nor deny it. She should have been smiling, but her gaze would lock firmly to mine.
In other words, that's it, isn't it? My sister is.
Huh?
Sorry, I messed up what I was trying to say.
Shion was trying to talk in a light-hearted manner, but I felt like there was something more behind her words. I'm a little confused at what she was trying to say. Was Mion trying to tell me something through Shion? Not being able to put a finger on exactly what it was vexing. Shion, to hide her embarrassment, turned the conversation around.
More importantly, just now, were you surprised? When everybody kept on showing up?
Of course I was! If it were Rina or Satoko, that would have been one thing. But for all those people, young and old, to gather, they were from Hinamizawa, right?
Yeah, that's right. Everybody in Hinamizawa is pretty close-knit. An enemy of one is the enemy of all. Nobody is going to look on from the sidelines. We're a pretty reliable group of residents.
If somebody is being picked on, then everybody unites to get rid of the bully. It kind of sounds like the Mafia or the Yakuza's brand of unity.
You shouldn't say something like that.
Yeah, you should not say something about that. Okay. Okay. Because obviously, the Yakuza doesn't want you to talk about the Yakuza. The Mafia doesn't want you to talk about the Mafia. Okay. Yeah, sure. Alright. Alright, Shion.
You shouldn't say something like that. It's something you should be thankful for. You were saved by the Unity, weren't you? Never forget to show your appreciation.
I half-heartedly agreed. I knew full well that I should appreciate.
Everybody is really
close-knit, aren't they?
Maybe it's because of tradition. Hinamizawa has been in danger from becoming a ghost town on several occasions. There's been a history of the villagers uniting together each time to fight for the village's continued existence. For example, Kei-chan, did you know about the Hinamizawa Dam project?
Finally! Finally we're gonna fucking talk about it again! Yes, I know about it! Hinamizawa Dam project? Let's see, I feel like I've heard somebody talk about it before.
About 10 years ago, there was a sudden proposal to build a dam here, which would have submerged Hinamizawa underwater.
Oh, that story. I think I heard my dad talking about that. But I'm pretty sure that plan was canceled, right?
We made them cancel it. Everybody banded together. So that was a well-earned victory.
That sounded pretty much like the story I heard. The protest intensified to the point where it was featured in the newspapers and magazines. Oh. Dude, remember when I was kind of pissed at Mion because she told me that she didn't know about the dam project, but she had been arrested, or she had like had multiple encounters with the police because of their investigation, and she was interfering on multiple occasions during the protests. Right? What if Mion wasn't lying and it was Shion the whole time? Blowing my mind. I don't think that's actually how it was. I think she's straight up just a liar. I think both of these people are liars, but that could be crazy. That could be crazy. Or what if Mion and Shion are different people? Well, like how it kind of felt with Rina and Mion was that like when the demon took over and they became like the demon parts, they like forgot that they were demons for a second, because like Mion like actually seemed like, well, Mion and Rina seemed like actually like heartbroken that Keiichi was being all different and acting really weird and everything. I think that they legitimately forget some of the stuff that they do. But maybe I'm wrong about that. I could be wrong about that. Anyway, let's see. That sounded pretty much like the story I heard. The protests intensified to the point it was featured in the newspapers and magazines. As a result, the plan was suspended.
The whole story with the dam apparently started before I was born. At first, the proposal was only for exploratory purposes as a small dam.
Wait. The whole story with the dam apparently started before I was born. It happened 10 years ago. Oh, wait. No, it probably... I don't know how old she is. I think she's like 16, probably. She's probably like 16 at the oldest.
The whole story with the dam apparently started before I was born. At first, the proposal was only for exploratory purposes, or a small dam to control erosion. But then, the cat was let out of the bag. If it were completed, it would have been the biggest dam in Japan. Not just Hinamizawa, but several villages upstream would have been submerged as well. The protests immediately began. Petitions to cancel or relocate the project were drafted and submitted to the Diet. They even went as far as to go to the Ministry of Construction in Tokyo to hand over a direct appeal to the minister. The previous landowners sued the government, stating there were inconsistencies in the purchase agreement and the transaction should be nullified. Owners of yet unacquired land split their properties, increasing the number of landowners in order to stifle the project. It was all very precious when the land acquisition was still about money. Eventually, they started relying on eminent domain in order to seize land. Oh my god. It started at that point. The riot police began to get violent.
Riot police? You mean the police? Why would they act violently?
They punched. They kicked. There was a time I was hit. Right around here, I think. My skin split open, and a whole lot of blood spilled out.
Saying that Shion indicated her temple by poking at it. What happened to the police? Filing a complaint against the riot police for police brutality would seem kind of strange for some reason. Naturally, they wouldn't pay heed to something like that. You wouldn't be able to establish proof on who exactly hit you, and they could justify their actions by saying you were interfering with police duties.
My Nana went off like a firework. After that, it was amazing. Like a full-scale war. We weren't just going to sit by and idly fire complaints. We went on the offensive.
Wait, was Shion the first, incident where that happened? They fucking beat up a kid? A child? Because she would have been 10 or 11 when that happened, right? Yeah, dude, I would have fucking rose up against them. Fuck them, dude. First, in order to call attention to the government, they filed a temporary injunction in court. Then, in order to gain public support, they called in prominent scientists to state that Hinamizawa was a valuable nature preserve. They pressured the prefectural and municipal assemblies, saying that the prefectural governor ignored his constituents when he approved the project and demanded his resignation. They completely and thoroughly denounced him. Naturally, in Hinamizawa, a ferocious conflict worth of being called the Dam War began. In order to suppress the police's brutality, they coordinated with the network channels and exposed the violence of the riot squad members to the public. On top of that, they put together a special expose themed around the environment, repressing the citizens, and aired it nationally. It worked wonders. Following that, the SWAT teams had their hands cuffed. Day after day, the petitions and demonstrations continued. Propaganda was used to help garner support. The circle of support gradually expanded outwards from Hinamizawa. Either that bore fruit or the government finally decided against it. It was announced that the dam project was indefinitely suspended just a few years ago.
We did everything we could. The entire village banded together and fought. At that time, we were desperate, but now that it's over, it's actually become a pretty good memory. The villagers' feelings of solidarity and unity still haven't faded.
Shion said that as she focused off into the distance. I felt that those eyes weren't filled with anguish, but rather a sense of pride.
That kind of solidarity is pretty nice. You don't see it too often. Bridging the generation gap and unifying the region.
I think so too. The dam project was a trial. I think that just the fact that we were able to overcome it is huge. Oh.
I think so too. The dam project was a trial. I think that just the fact that we were able to overcome it is a huge.
The fear I was feeling until just now gradually began to fade. When people began to show up one after another while I was engaging with those thugs, I thought it was frightening. But now I felt from the bottom of my heart that I had been rude. The villagers prepared to defend their homeland to the death. The sense of solidarity that fostered. It might have been impudent to say this, but I was a little jealous. Why don't you tell him about the dismemberment, Shion? Why don't you tell him about the horrific dismemberment of one of the workers, or the project staff member, that was cut into 6 pieces, and all the pieces were hid. Yeah, why don't you tell him about that? And why don't you also tell him about the 8 other people who were killed? Why don't you tell him about that, Shion? If you're really about unity and community and everything, I think you should know. I think Keiichi should know about this. Don't you? Pissed me off. Might seem impudent to say this, but I was a little jealous. If I had been in Hinamizawa when the protest against the dam was going on, I might have been able to share in that sense of solidarity.
Kei-chan, you weren't here at the time, so I don't think you can fully feel the solidarity in the village, but everybody shares it. Thoroughly. Even with somebody who just moved here like you, Kei-chan.
She couldn't have been more right. So many people got together to help me out when I just moved here, even though they were strangers whose names I didn't even know. A hot feeling began welling up inside me. When I lived in the city, I didn't even know my own neighbors. I thought this was natural, but here, that was an absurd and pathetic thing. Even though I thought of them as strangers, all the other villagers viewed me as a comrade, happiness and warmth. I was actually aware of these feelings as they gradually welled up inside of me.
Sonozaki-san!
Oh,
So, Nozaki-san, the manager wants to work on the floor.
a more senior waitress waved her hand and called out to Shion. It seemed like it was time for work.
Ah, okay, I'm coming. Sorry. Looks like I have to get to work now.
It's fine. Thanks for hanging out with me. It was fun.
Oh, are you going home?
Yeah. My mom gets fussy when I'm not home by dinner time. It seemed that Shion wanted to say something, but she swallowed her words. Like she hadn't talked enough, that kind of feeling. Looking at the expression, I regretted saying something that had disappointed Mion like that. I was about to say that I could stay for a little bit longer when Sion got up from her seat.
Here. If you use the coupon, it should cover the pancakes as well.
Saying that, she showed me a coupon booklet as she tore out a few sheets and handed them to me.
Convenient, isn't it? It's a perk I get at the top of my salary.
It's okay. I can pay for the pancakes by myself.
Heh. Oh, being so reserved doesn't fit you, Kei-chan. If I were my sister, you would have gladly let me pay for it.
She said as she laughed, gently stopping me from opening my wallet. Being told so with such an encouraging smile really resounded with me.
So, Nozaki-san, sorry, could you take care of the register?
Ah, yes, right away. Later. Today was fun. Saying that, Shion smiled one more time at me.
Oh, Mion, thanks a lot for today. I owe you one, you dumbass, Keiichi.
If you really think that, then return the favor. I look forward to it.
After I said it, I realized I mistakenly called her Mion. I didn't know if she realized it or not. It's nighttime. Lazing around and watching television after dinner was part of my daily routine. It might seem like a waste at first glance, but you could say it was an important time when I was able to acquire knowledge of everything from politics to economics to various trivia. After dinner was valuable time well spent while the brain was at its most supplied with nutrients. What? You idiot! It's obvious that Tokyo Tower is taller. Ah! Today I tested my knowledge of trivia by watching my weekly quiz show. Sitting in front of the television, I was able to get a lot of the answers right, but if I were actually up on stage, I'd probably fail miserably.
Keiichi! Phone call from Sonozaki-san!
Okay, Sonozaki. That's Mion. Oh shit. It was a little late for her to be calling. I had a bad feeling about this. I had a hunch it was something to do with club activities. She was probably going to inform me about what we were doing today. This was Mion we're talking about. It's gonna be Shion. She might even go so far as to say we're doing club activities right now, so hurry up and come over. By the way, it was 8 p.m. Oh, thank you for letting me in on that. It doesn't look like 8 p.m. right now. It looks like the middle of the day. Hello? No way we're having a club battle right now.
Huh? That's not it. I mean...
It was Mion, but it was a very un-Mion-like way of talking. Huh? Could it be? Sorry. Could it be you're not Mion, but Shion?
That's right. Good evening. I'm sorry for calling so late.
For Mion, this would have been an ill-fittingly polite way of talking, but since it was Shion, it was natural. Even though they were both the same person, with a dry smile, I enjoyed the mysterious feeling. No, it's fine. What's up?
K-chan, do you like sweets? Like cakes or desserts?
There's no way I hated them. I'm an unabashed glutton.
That's great. Actually, there's a new dessert contest this summer.
Looks like they have a new dessert menu every season. So they were hiring taste testers for potential desserts.
The desserts at Angel Mort have a good reputation. It's pretty difficult to get it accepted as a taste tester. I'll get right to the point. Ta-da!
You say ta-da, but I can't see you over the phone. Still, could it be?
That's right. I have a taste testing ticket right here. If you don't mind sweets, how about it?
When you say how about it, you basically mean, with that ticket, I can eat all the new desserts I want. I think she's asking me on a date, little bro. They say to beware of honey pots, but this is sweeter than any pot of honey. All you can eat free dessert? No way.
If you're okay with that, I'll register you as a taste tester. When you come to the restaurant tomorrow, just give the person in charge your name. Then everything will work out.
When you say everything will work out, you mean all you can eat? For free?
Yeah, it's free. There's quite a bit, so I recommend you come hungry.
This was such a delectable opportunity. It was almost scary. This was really Shion, right? It wasn't Mion posing as Shion in order to bait me into a trap, was it? What am I saying? They're the same person. Yeah, I know exactly what you're thinking, K-chan.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're thinking, K-chan. You're thinking this is too good to be true, right?
Eep! I mean, I would never.
Snort. I heard from my sister, but you're really somebody who can't tell a lie. I'm not averse to somebody like that.
Shion laughed with a voice that sounded a lot like Mion would laugh. It's not like I was intending on it, but it just so happens that my shift...
It's not like I was intending on it, but it just so happens that my shift ends early tomorrow. If it's not a bother, I thought maybe we could spend a little time together after I'm done.
Your shift ends early tomorrow?
Yeah, so while you take your time eating dessert, I'll finish up.
Your shift ends early after a contest? Wait, or like a... I don't know, what is this, a contest? It's weird. After an event like that, I feel like it would go on way longer. I don't know. You have a really lax job. It's a really gross job, but it's pretty lax, Shion. Well, I didn't have any plans anyway. I didn't mind hanging out with you for a bit.
It's not like we have to go anywhere. I was thinking we could cool off in the evening while we take a walk.
There was no reason for me to refuse. Out of courtesy, I might as well take her up on her offer.
By the way, Kei-chan, you and I have been meeting up every day, haven't we?
Now that you say it, I guess we have.
Since you said okay, we have an excuse to meet again tomorrow.
Huh? What was Mion saying?
Kei-chan, your voice just cracked. What's the matter?
It wasn't a video phone, but I could tell she was beet red.
Well then, you should definitely come tomorrow. I'll take my leave here. Good night.
Good night. Shion finished with that as she called to say, ending the conversation without a chit-chat. When I returned to the living room after hanging up the phone, the TV was already off and my mom was sleeping in the rocking chair. Not feeling like turning the TV back on, I went back upstairs and returned to my room. I've only been receiving favors from Shion, haven't I? She brought me a bento and saved me when I got involved with those thugs. She was supposed to be a different person so I could thank Mion at school. Come to think of it, she'd probably just say she'll pass it on to her sister. I have to thank Shion directly. Tomorrow I'll have to repay her somehow. Wow. A lot of interesting stuff happened in that chapter. I feel like I'm peering into it. I feel like I'm opening the doors and I'm staring right in now. Details of the Delinquent 3. Mob mentality, get rescued. Let's watch these new tips. Okay, this is probably Oshi. Just why are you arresting us? Bullshit! Let it go of me! Kuma-chan, you can let go of their arms now. Here, please, sit down. 3 people rubbed their arms painfully. Kumatani-kun and the others must have been squeezing them pretty tightly. Don't get me wrong. I haven't arrested you or anything. Kuma-chan, go get me something cool from the fridge, please. Would you like your barley from foam or without? Huh? They plunked down on the reception sofa. Despite not yelling anymore, they still had dangerous expressions. What I'd give to be young again. I'll drink even if you don't, you know. Oh. I'll drink even if you don't, you know. Excuse me for helping myself. Beer's best when you drink it on the job. Ain't that so true, Oshi? As he downed the beer with glee, the 3 people exchanged glances, then finally reached out for their cans. They hadn't stopped being cautious. It was more like they didn't see a reason to refuse. They each opened their cans and began to drink the contents. Where'd you guys come from? You're not from around here. Foo. Oh, she is so cute, dude. They looked at each other again, suspicious of whether they should tell him. Y'all college students? Friends on a trip? You were probably traveling on bikes or something. Sounds like fun I wish I was having. ... You don't live close by, do you? Where'd you come from? Osaka, perhaps? What's the matter to you? Now, there's no use trying to intimidate me. You'd have all been in a lot more trouble if I left you there, right? They seemed to recall a thrilling event from earlier. While they could understand getting surrounded by students or a gang or something along those lines, they would never have been surrounded by locals, but both young and old, both men and women before. It was easy to imagine how scared they must have been. If y'all were from here, the people of Hinamizawa wouldn't have done anything to you, no matter what you had done wrong. They're all special. Not in the sense of parents not wanting to get involved in their children's fights. If one person gets bullied, the village will come out in full force. It's not just an ideal threat, you know. They couldn't argue against that. They themselves had been surrounded. They'd seen it with their own eyes. There was no doubt about it. Around these parts, people of Hinamizawa give you a glare like that, they'll simply get demoned away, and no one will hear from you again. You'll suddenly disappear without a trace. Do y'all have families that will get the police to search for you if they went missing? If not, that's bad. You'll vanish, and that'll be the end of it. Foo. Even then we got there soon enough that nothing happened. If we'd been late, things could have taken a turn for the worse. If they'd been forced into an alleyway, these young men wouldn't be sitting on a couch right now. They might be lying on an autopsy table. Whoa. Foo. Well, probably not. Anyway, perhaps they'd be a little bit more cooperative if we found them as corpses. Yikes. How'd y'all get to Okinomiya? By train? By bike? Bike. That's no good. They're still parked there, aren't they? If you go waltzing in to get them back, they really might gang up on you. Hell's that? We'll take them on. Calm down. Why are young people these days so quick with the shouting? Y'all don't want no more trouble, do you, right? Tell me the bike license plate numbers. I'll bring them here for you. Kuma-chan, please borrow the loading truck we use for traffic disasters. Got it. It's fine. We'll get them ourselves. Y'all really want to get surrounded again? Police may not be fast enough to save you this time. ... Fine, innit? If we're surrounded, they're gonna get knocked down. Hey! You 3. You're drinking the barley with foam, right? Try turning your engines on. I'll arrest you on the spot for drunk driving. That's fucking dirty! Your tax dollars will be put to good use in bringing all your bikes back here. Quit complaining and tell me the goddamn license plates, you pieces of shit. The three were hesitant to tell him the numbers. They were mumbling something along the lines of not remembering them since they just bought the bikes. Well, that's what I thought. Ha! Kuma-chan, go with the truck and bring the bikes back. Get tough-looking red Yamaha, the one with the broken right tail light, and the white one that had been pasting tape stuck to the seat. It's those ones. They belong to you, right? They didn't answer. Those must be the right ones.
Ushi-san, the truck is here, so I'll get going.
Yeah, please do. Wait, Kuma-chan, hold on. One more thing.
What's up?
Look up the numbers. You don't want to bring the wrong ones back. The three people's faces changed color. They made themselves very easy to understand. Let's take it easy here until your bikes get back. There's more beer, you know. We have some snacks, too. Want to watch some TV? There's probably nothing on, though. Nah, thanks, we're leaving.
Don't want to hang around here forever.
Suddenly there were 5 or 6 or 7 huge officers surrounding them. Their clearly overpowering stares nailed them to the sofa.
What?
What did we do? Going on a trip by stealing motorcycles, huh? Students these days have too much time on their hands. Damn, they stole the motorcycles, huh? That's pretty scary, actually. Wow. Ugh. They definitely could have got demoned away. Well, damn, dude. Well, that makes me confused, because, like, I guess I never really thought of it that way, but, does that mean, like, the people in Hinamizawa, like, the whatever, like, group of people in Hinamizawa are going around and committing all these murders and stuff? I thought it was, like, they just kill somebody every year after the Watangashi, but do they just do it whenever they feel like and blame it on them getting demoned away? Are they kidnapping people on the regular, maybe, even? That's scary. That's scary. I guess, like, just them doing it once a year is, like... I want to know how many people it is, actually, because I only know about the deaths and the, like, disappearances that happened every year on the Watangashi. But, I mean, there could be a fuck ton more that we just don't know about yet. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. More next week.